George Harrison, the quiet Beatle with a penchant for introspection, wielded a surprisingly sharp tongue when it came to critiquing his fellow musicians. While his own music explored spiritual depths and incorporated global influences, some artists just didn't resonate with him. Let's delve into 5 musicians who fell short of George Harrison's musical tastes. First up, we have Neil Young. These two guitar giants might have seemed like they'd be mutual admirers, but that wasn't the case. Harrison apparently wasn't a fan of Young's playing style, which he found unconventional to say the least. In a 1992 recording session, Harrison was blunt about his feelings. When asked if he'd heard Young's latest song, he replied with a surprising, "I'm not a Neil Young fan." The conversation didn't end there. When someone praised Young's guitar work, Harrison bluntly interrupted, saying, "I hate it. Yeah, I can't stand it." Yikes, that's a pretty cutting remark for the usually reserved Harrison. Next, we have Oasis. While Britpop was all the rage in the 90s, spearheaded by bands like Oasis, Harrison found their music to lack depth. Not only that, but he wasn't a big fan of their frontman, Liam Gallagher, calling him a pain. The feeling was definitely mutual. When Harrison critiqued Oasis music in 1996, saying it lacked depth, Gallagher, known for his fiery temper, retorted with a threat in an MTV interview. He said that if any of those old farts had a problem with him, they should leave their walking sticks at home because he'd be ready for a fight. Yikes. Talk about a heated response. Moving on, we have the Hollies. There seems to have been a bit of a local rivalry brewing between these two Merseyside bands. It all started when the Hollies covered a Harrison-written Beatles song, "If I Needed Someone," in 1965, releasing their version on the same day as the original. Let's just say Harrison wasn't impressed. He was quoted calling their cover rubbish in an interview with the NME that same year. He went on to say that their version wasn't his kind of music and felt they had ruined the song. He complimented their technical skills, but said their recording sounded like a group of session musicians who had never met before. Understandably, this critique sparked a feud between the two bands. Number 4 on the list is the Sex Pistols. While the Beatles might have paved the way for punk rock, the first wave of punk bands weren't exactly fans. Harrison wasn't a fan of them either, calling their music rubbish and lacking finesse. Last but not least, we have Elton John. Although Harrison respected Elton John as a person, he wasn't a fan of his music. He thought it was formulaic and repetitive. So there you have it, folks. 5 musicians who didn't quite make the cut for George Harrison's taste in music. It's interesting to see that even the quiet Beatle had some strong opinions. Let me know your opinion in the comment section. Till next time, bye.